Welcome to the Central Alabama High School Sports Show podcast, brought to you by Andrew Sports Medicine, Land of Frost, Hamburger Heaven, Huffman Electric, and State Farm.
And hello again, everybody. I'm Snapper Lancaster, welcoming you to another edition of the Central Alabama High School Sports Show. Well, as you can tell from the front of our skirt here, we're at Hoover High School today, where we're going to be recognizing a couple of outstanding coaches, one of them a championship coach, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But in the opening set with me, I've got the athletic director here, Andy Urban. Andy, awfully good to see you again.
We appreciate y'all being here.
And for the people that might be seeing you for the first time or in a long time, because you were on our show many years ago, tell us a little bit about your background and what has led you to be the athletic director here at Hoover High.
Well, I was hired here in the fall of '07 to be an assistant baseball coach and freshman football coach, and did that for several years. And then Myra gave me an opportunity to be assistant athletic director for a year, and then she decided to retire the next year, and luckily I got the job, and just been working in it ever since.
Well, I tell you what, now of course I meet a lot of athletic directors that are coaches and or have coached. And I guess one of the main questions I would have for you, Andy, talk about the adjustment. There has to be one from what we'd say to the field to the office when you do move from coaching your sport, and it's a whole different job. So what about that adjustment? How was it for you?
The adjustment was very different. One, you don't want to tell people how to coach, and when you're a coach, you're always coming up with new ideas, new ways of doing things, and a lot of times, as an athletic director, you want the coach to coach with their style, their way. They know their team, they know their players. You quickly fall into the line of, hey, are we doing what we're supposed to be doing? Are we making good grades? Are we handling ourselves with good character? Are we representing our school in the right way? And so you kind of fall on that line really quickly, because the teams are, the coaches are hired to do a job, and we want them to be able to do that.
Well, and I know as Chris and I were coming into the area where we're taping the show, we just went by a lot of y'all's plaques and everything. What a testament to the outstanding coaches you have, plus athletes, and being in your position now, and every once in a while you're in the process, you hire new coaches and that. And I know Hoover has the reputation of trying to get some of the best in the business. To talk about that, because Hoover is continually, year after year, and it's a combination of coaches and athletes contributing and having outstanding championship programs, and you just keep on, as the old saying goes.
Well, yeah, we do. Our coaches do a great job. The work ethic here is unmatched for their sport. We have several coaches who, our track coach, he coaches all three sports. He's here, puts thousands of hours in. Our programs work. Our success is driven off the work ethic of the coaches, the hours the kids put in, and it's pretty humbling to be the athletic director with those guys and women who work as hard as they do. So it's a kind of an awesome thing, and it does get going. The momentum does help. One sport leads into another sport. One sport does this, the next sport wants to do that, and so we're challenged to play across the country and challenge our kids and give our kids a unique opportunity.
And so I guess you've been at your AD's job quite a few years now, and what's the biggest challenge for you as an athletic director? Is it just keeping everybody on the same type keel, or always looking for whom you might be looking at should another opening come up? How does that work for you, and how do you go about doing that?
Well, Myra used to tell me, hey, you always have to have a short list, of coaches. I don't go out looking, because I try to, make our opportunity here for our coaches to be successful, and that's what we're trying to do. But we do know that people leave and take better opportunities or different opportunities, and we want to challenge our coaches to do that. But the biggest challenge is on a daily basis what we're dealing with whether it be an issue with a team, issue with a parent, issue with a coach, that we have to make sure we make the right decision on and the best decision for the interest of the school.
Well, I tell you what, Andy, and I'm always used to calling the coach because that's where we started out, but it's awfully good to see you again. We're tickled to death to be able to come to Hoover High School. What we've done, we've brought our show on the road, so to speak, because of all the road construction that they've been doing, and we did not want the players or the coaches put in that situation. And so we're enjoying going from school to school because it's a new experience, and I think maybe it's a win-win for all of us right now. But just want you to know, awfully good to see you. Glad to be here visiting and recognizing a couple of your coaches, and look forward to seeing you down the road.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. You guys do a great job, and we're thankful for the opportunity to share our message and get our brand out.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
Folks, we'll take a quick break. We come back and we'll be visiting with the first coach of the evening. Don't you go away. We'll be right back. You can catch our show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Stitcher, and YouTube. You can also visit us on our social media outlets, Facebook and Twitter. Be sure to like and subscribe to our platforms. If you have an idea for a show topic or would like to be a sponsor, please email us at castvshow321@gmail.com.
Take your taste to a different place. It's the taste of hamburger heaven. A taste of heaven is always best. Now you know that you're blessed. Give your taste a whole new spin. Bring your friends and come on in. Take your taste to a different place. It's the taste of hamburger heaven.
Land of Frost Premium is America's best-selling 1-pound deli pouch, now available in 12 delicious flavors, including new flavors of mesquite turkey and cotto salami. High school athletes across the country ask for Land of Frost by name. These great items are available at your local grocer, including Piggly Wiggly, Food Giant, Western supermarkets, and many more. Land of Frost also makes other varieties of lunch meats, including deli shaved bistro and sub sandwich kits. Land of Frost is a proud sponsor of youth sports as well.
At Andrew Sports Medicine, we partner with our patients, trying to help them overcome the obstacles that keep them from achieving their goals.
This practice aggressively pursues victory over injury, over pain, over limitation, over anything that's going to keep you from being the best you can be.
It starts with our non-surgical physicians who are trained in sports medicine, orthopedic injuries. We have specialists in sports medicine with shoulders, elbows, and knees. We have hip specialists that do only hip surgery, including arthroscopy, minimally invasive resurfacing, and total hip replacement if needed. We have joint replacement surgeons. We have spine surgeons. We have surgeons that specialize in foot and ankle surgery and in hand surgery. So just about all the specialties of orthopedics are covered at Andrew Sports Medicine.
What makes the great surgeons great is their volume of experience at making decisions, whether that's intraoperative decisions, post-operative decisions, pre-operative decisions, the decision to operate on somebody or not operate on them. And so our volume here breeds good decision making. That gives us an edge in terms of making decisions for our patients, which ultimately is a lot of times the difference between success and failure. The teams, the players, the parents have confidence in us because they know we're going to communicate with them. We're going to create a plan unique to that athlete or that person, and we're going to get them back to their thing and as quickly and as safely as we can.
At Andrew Sports Medicine, our mission is to partner with our patients and to help them succeed and achieve victory. Whether you're a weekend warrior, a grandparent with a shoulder problem, or a professional athlete, you get the same care, the same high-level technology, the same aggressiveness that we would in a professional athlete, and we treat everyone the same way. None of us like to lose. We're all very competitive, and we're not going to lose against their illness or their injury.
And folks, welcome back. As you can tell, we've got our first guest with us, and it's the head boys basketball coach. Of course, it's Charles Burkett. Coach Burkett, always good to see you. It's been a little while.
Yeah, it's good to
So before we get this interview in high gear about your team and the kind of season y'all had this year, for people that may be seeing you for the first time, tell us a little bit about your background and how you ended up here at Hoover.
graduate of Jacksonville State, played for Bill Jones. My first coaching stint was at Sachs High School, and I left Sachs, and I just finished my 13th year here.
Wow, I knew it had been a while. I didn't realize the years do get
Yeah,
by.
it does.
I know I've been doing this show 20 years, and it really don't seem like it on some days. Other days it does seem like it.
It does.
When this past season, your team, you had another pretty good team, didn't you?
I did. I mean, it wasn't projected to be as good, but when you have, if you look at our stature about the makeup of our team, then you would see what I'm talking about. But you know, you got to have a lot of heart inside those guys, and that's what was full of heart.
What was your team's final record this year?
24-9.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So as the old saying goes, a lot of the seasons, not many for you, I'm sure, but for a lot of coaches, there's peaks and valleys. Did you have many peaks and valleys? It seems like y'all played on a high level pretty much the whole season, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. We played a tough part of the schedule early. I think we had a 3, maybe 4 game losing streak early on, but I mean, you look at the teams we played, and that's the quality part of it. If you look at our record, I think you would think like we're having a tough year early on, but based on the teams that we played, it was tough. I think we didn't have a bad loss all year.
Well, you know, and Coach, this will help you on this part of that question. I know you schedule your teams that y'all are going to play, and of course you play your area teams, and then there's flexibility on the other part of it. And it sounds like to me that you prefer playing a tougher schedule, out of area schedule, than an easier schedule because, first of all, the tougher the challenge, the better you have to be. I'm sure you feel that same way. And a lot of times, I guess what I wonder is you set your schedule up. A lot of times coaches will set it up where they play tough teams that have a hard time beating, teams that they're pretty even with, and then teams that they ought to win. And if you don't, you're pretty upset because we let one get away. But like you said, a lot of times your team might mature quicker. The athletes turn out to be a little bit better than you thought they were. And that affects the way you play as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, the overall culture here of the program is to win your last game. And we have to schedule teams that's going to help us do that. So it has nothing to do with me personally. Selfishness has no room in this program. For me as a coach trying to schedule easy wins to make my record look good or to fluctuate these guys' stats by playing some teams we know we can beat. So it's honest. What you have is a true program. We're going to go out. We're going to play the toughest team around, and because our goal is to be playing on the last day, and you can't cheat yourself. So we never do that.
What is your philosophy as a head coach? And what I mean by that is through the years you have probably developed a style, whether it be on the offensive side of the basketball, defensive side, that you want to play. Now, I know being around sports as long as I have and you have, you may have a certain way you want to play, but you may have to compromise some of that in accordance with the athletes you have that year. So I guess compromise works that way for coaches every year, don't it? You may have a certain way you want to play, but yet you've got to have the athletes that fit that way.
Absolutely. We just got through talking about that with my point guard, Amon. You have to, this is not college, you know, you inherit players, you don't recruit players. Right. So it's easy to have a system and to find kids and plug them into that system. That's easy. But when your system, you know, changes players every year, then it becomes hard. That's why we're grounded in defense. I mean, we're going to defend. We're going to hold everyone accountable, and we're going to make every opponent beat us. You know, we're not giving up anything. So, doesn't take much talent to defend. You know, right. It's a lot of heart, a lot of effort. Offensively, we're going to have guys that be able to fill it up like we did this year. And sometimes not as much. You know, we have some guys that possibly can do that next year, but we don't know. But at the end of the day, we're going to defend.
Well, I tell you what, I think basketball is almost like any other sport, and baseball in particular, and football included, that the less you let another team score, the better chance you have to win. And like you said, good defense sometimes leads to a lot of quick, instant offensive chances.
Well, that's the whole point. Great defense leads to easy offense. And not only, you know, you get steals, you get defensive stops, you get opportunities down the other end. Not only that, but when you play solid defense it carries over to good offense.
Right. Well, I know, looking to next year, is your team you're gonna have a lot of experience coming back? In other words, you're not gonna have a whole lot of holes to fill, it sounds like, that, so, that's a plus for you heading into next year. Now, of course, there's always surprises. Kids sometimes end up playing better than you thought, or sometimes maybe they digress a little bit. You won't know that till you actually do it. But it sounds like coming back, you gotta feel good about this group that you'll have coming back next year.
Well, it's a young group. Like I said, I have no expectation at this point. 8 months bring about a lot of change. So we definitely got a lot of growing to do to get back where we were this year, to have an opportunity to win it. So, I'm optimistic. We have a bunch of good guys, and that's been around the program and watched these two guys the way they did it. And I think that obviously makes it easier when you have guys that set the standard, so they know what the expectations are.
Well, Coach, one question as we get toward the end of our interview here. I'd be amiss if I didn't ask this one, because it's a curiosity question. I know you played college ball. You're having a great career thus far here at Hoover High School. Well, on another note, just throwing it out there, do you ever think about coaching at the next level, or do you feel like you are where you need to be?
Well, I have a daughter that's in high school right now, so and she's involved in athletics. So I love the opportunity to go and watch her whenever she plays. So that's a big part in my decision now. So in a couple of years, when she graduates, who knows? But the catch is, I kind of enjoy what I'm doing, and developing kids, and just helping them first. So college will always be there.
Right. Yeah. Well, I tell you what, Coach, from what I've seen, you've done a fantastic job here at Hoover High School thus far. And like you say, you've got a pretty good reason to hang around a while. But I wish you all the luck in the world. Your programs have done fantastic so far. And I imagine you'll be right in the thick of maybe challenging for a championship again next year. So, but always good to see you, and best of luck to you down the road, okay?
Hey, appreciate it. Thanks.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, visit with a couple of athletes so instrumental in the outstanding season the Hoover boys basketball had this year. We'll be right back.
Post-operative decisions, pre-operative decisions, the decision to operate on somebody or not operate on them. And so our volume here breeds good decision making. That gives us an edge in terms of making decisions for our patients, which ultimately is a lot of times the difference between success and failure. The teams, the players, the parents have confidence in us because they know we're going to communicate with them. We're going to create a plan unique to that athlete or that person, and we're going to get them back to their thing as quickly and as safely as we can.
At Andrews Sports Medicine, our mission is to partner with our patients and to help them succeed and achieve victory. Whether you're a weekend warrior, a grandparent with a shoulder problem, or a professional athlete, you get the same care, the same high-level technology, the same aggressiveness that we would in a professional athlete, and we treat everyone the same way. None of us like to lose. We're all very competitive, and we're not going to lose against their illness or their injury.
And this will be your premium right here.
Sorry to interrupt. I just want to say, I combined home and auto with State Farm.
Saved $760.
Love this guy.
Okay, does it bother anybody else that the mime is talking? Freaky.
Bundle home and auto, and you could save $760.
That's 760 very good reasons to call Alan Gurdeau in Trussville today.
And folks, welcome back. You can tell we got two outstanding young athletes here that played on the varsity boys basketball team. Had an outstanding year this year. And sitting closest to me, C.J. Melton, senior, you're a guard, right?
Yes, sir.
And then Aman Ellington, you're a guard as well, senior?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, guys, going into this year now, Hoover's just one of those schools where there's so much talent here, the coaching is good. You guys are expected to play really well and have good seasons. So, CJ, going into this year, what were your goals, not only for you individually, but for you and your team?
Our major goal is to go to the BJCC. You know, like a lot of people were doubting us. People were telling us, saying that we couldn't do it. And that just like motivated us every day. And, you know, I just had to remind the guys that, you know, we can do it and just got to keep fighting.
Well, sometimes, like you said, when you get those challenges like that, it turns out to be a positive thing to you rather than a negative, right?
Yes, sir.
And, guard, are you point guard, shooting guard?
Point guard.
Point guard?
Yes, sir.
So does this mean this gentleman's a shooting guard?
I played all around.
Well, that's what we want. We're going into this year, and CJ, we'll start with you, especially area teams that you play. But is there anybody on that schedule that you really look forward to over maybe somebody else?
On the area.
Well, it doesn't matter, whatever.
I like the big games, like the challenges.
Yeah.
I like to, I like to go against the best guys to show them that, like, y'all the same as us, I'm that type of person that like to prove people wrong and, just, show them that we can we can do it.
Well, how about you, man? Do you enjoy looking at that schedule and say, that's who I'm looking forward to playing?
No, sir. I'm ready for every game, each and every game.
First come, first serve.
First come, first serve.
All right, let me ask you this question. I've asked different athletes in different sports, but basketball in particular. Do you feel less pressure on the road to win, or do you feel more pressure at home because it's in front of your crowd and you want to win, or does it matter?
It doesn't really matter. I like playing on the road personally. Going and getting a win in somebody else's.
Yeah, I was going to say one thing about that, and I've had a lot of athletes say that, is the fact that a hostile crowd, the best way to quieten them is go in there and play your game and control their team, right? How do you feel about that, CJ?
Yeah, same with him. Like, I like going to your territory or to your gym and embarrass you.
Oh, yeah.
Embarrass you in front of you.
But it's sort of human nature, too, just to want to win that home game because you got mom, dad, in y'all's case, girlfriends, friends, everybody there, and you want to win. And so if you don't watch it, you could put pressure on yourself.
But, me and him have been playing basketball since we were little, and I guess, our parents our support has been on us, so it's nothing really when we get on the court at home, or it's really no pressure at all, we just like playing at home games because it's the territory, but it's really no pressure.
All right, now, see, I knew two things about you guys before you even sat down. One thing I knew is you're outstanding students. Because if you don't qualify in the classroom, you don't make it to the basketball court, right? And two, because of the way you play on the court, y'all are pretty good athletes. Now, having said that, there's pressure to perform on the court, pressure in the classroom, because you've got to make those grades, right? So what I want to know, and we'll start with you, CJ, what do you do to get away from that pressure? When you got a little free time, what do you do to just totally relax and enjoy yourself?
Personally, I like to draw. Or I like to think about my future, like what my future gonna hold. I daydream. I think about, just think about positive things. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, now how about you?
I don't look at it as pressure. It's just like opportunity for me. It's just an opportunity to, show what I'm about, as a person and as a player. But, off the court, I really like to sleep, honestly.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a good time. You expend a lot of energy on the court, and you spend a lot of brain power in that classroom, right? Well, let me ask you, you guys both seniors, do you have a scholarship yet, or do you know where you want to go next year?
No, sir. I have an offer from Iowa Central Community College, but I don't know as of right now.
Okay. Well, now, as you get into that next stage of your education, has there been any thought of what you might like to do down the road as a occupation? Do you know?
I think I want to study physical therapy or sports medicine, somewhere along those lines, but not really sure yet.
Something that just keeps you in the sports,
Yeah,
right?
yes, sir.
Okay. How about you, CJ?
I got actually I'm committed to Presbyterian College.
Okay.
Yes, sir. It's in Clinton, South Carolina.
And so what kind of subjects will you be taking? What do you hope to do one day?
If basketball don't work out, I'd like to be a PA.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, you know, I talk to coaches a lot too about, and it'll surprise you how many of them didn't think they'd end up being a coach. They all had dreams of doing something else. Not all of them, but a lot of them. But they said they'd ended up in a business they totally loved. And so with that thought in mind, CJ, if it ever worked out for you, would you like to be involved in basketball in some capacity in the future?
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, basketball is my love. Like, it's the one thing I go to when I, down or just like anything. Like, basketball makes me who I am.
Yeah. Well, what about you, man?
Yes, I spend like most of my day surrounded by basketball, whether it's in the gym or watching it on TV or just doing anything around it.
And one thing I always like to watch at and ask athletes about is, in this case, it being basketball, who is your favorite collegiate or pro basketball player? If you could play just a little bit like them, that's what you want your game.
I don't believe like I play like anybody. I believe I play like myself, but I like to watch different players, like great players. They go in and out. I can tell who's going to be successful and what they do. And so, of course, like the star players who would put up the numbers, but just I go on and on about different players.
Yeah. Well, how about you?
I just like different players who have a little bit of what I have.
Yeah.
That I could, take to my game.
Right.
For me, just a little sprinkle here and there to help me overall.
Well, I tell you what, and coach and all your coaches tell you this too, the more rounded you can be, the better you can be at all aspects of your game, probably the better chance you really have to be successful. Well, a couple of questions as we close out the interview. Athletes, and I was an athlete 50 years ago, believe it or not, but a lot of us have superstitions, maybe, is the best way to put it. CJ, is there anything you superstitious about or think you got to do this way or that way or you're not going to be successful?
No, sir. I mean, I believe like if you just don't. I mean, I just go with the flow. Nothing like if I think about it, it's gonna make me think about it as it's happening. Like it's not gonna go as what I scripted it to be.
Oh, okay. How about you?
No, sir. I just feel like if I'm prepared for the game, and I'll be fine. I don't have any superstitions. If I come in the game ready, it'll be okay.
Well, good. Well, listen, guys, I know you've been successful. Both of you off to college next year. Wish you the best of luck. And the last question I got to this point in your young lives, who's been the most inspirational person or persons? We'll start with you, CJ.
Most inspirational person would be my dad. He always been with me in the gym from the start. So.
It's been my dad and my mom. They supported me in both ways. My mom always been there for me.
Well,
my dad has spent countless hours in the gym with me. Yeah.
Well, as the old saying goes, too, and those countless hours have paid off, and that's terrific. Guys, both of you seniors on your way next year, wish you all the luck in the world, okay? And nice to have you visit with us. Folks, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're visiting with a championship coach. You got to stick around and see who it is. We'll be right back.
Take your taste to a different place. It's the taste of hamburger heaven. A taste of heaven is always best. Now you know that you're blessed. Give your taste a whole new spin. Bring your friends and come on in. Take your taste to a different place. It's the taste of hamburger heaven.
The next time you need electrical work, whether it be commercial or residential, you need to call Huffman Electrical Contractors, a company that's been in business for over 35 years. They've served clients not only locally in the Birmingham area and all over the state, but have clients outside the state of Alabama as well. Whether it's a new building or remodeling an older building or home, they can handle the job for you. Once again, that's Huffman Electrical Contractors. The number to call is 205-661-5005. That's 205-661-5005. Where at Huffman Electrical Contractors, a satisfied customer is always their #1 objective. And folks, welcome back. And as you can tell, I've got an outstanding, pretty young lady here who is a better basketball coach than she is pretty, I think. And the reason I'm saying that, of course, they won the 7A state championship, and Coach Crystal Johnson. And Coach, always good to see you. It's been a while. But congratulations, another championship. Never gets old, does it?
No, sir, it does not.
How many years at Hoover now for you?
Technically, it's my 8th, but it's my 3rd back as a head coach.
Yeah, and how many titles have you just won? This one? I thought you had another. Have you won?
No, this is our 2nd one since I've been back. We won in 2017.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, my goodness. So going into this year, and I think every coach feels the same way. You feel good about your team, but did you feel like that this group had the potential to be state champions?
Definitely. We always knew we had probably the most talented team in the state, but the previous year obviously kind of created some doubt because we felt that way in 2018 too. So we knew that even though we had the most talent, that we had to be able to put the perfect game plan and together every game to make sure we could win this year as opposed to how we did last year.
Yeah. Well, now, what was y'all's final record this year?
34-1.
Oh, I knew for a long time you had one loss, and I said, they're probably going to get another one. Well, I've been proven wrong. I've been proven wrong. And so golly, that's great. I knew y'all had a good record, but only one loss. You know, for a lot of teams, when I sat down and talked to the coaches, they have peaks and valleys in the season, you know. And if they're lucky, then they peak at the right time and can maybe do some serious damage and even win a championship. But your team must have played. Did it surprise you at the level they played all year long?
I think what surprised me was how fast we played. Previous years, we're generally a bigger team that's, you know, got real tall girls. This year, we didn't have but like 2 people that were over 6 feet. Wow. One of those is a guard. So we had some people that had to play some positions they don't normally play. But I think the only thing that really surprised me was how fast we played this season. Yeah. We were able to create a lot of turnovers with our defense, and we got out in transition really well, which is obviously expected since we had so many guards. Right.
Wow. Well, I was going to say, yeah, your transition game had to have been phenomenal for you. Well, as being the head coach, and this is one thing I like to talk to head coaches about too, you're responsible for your schedule. And, of course, the one thing you don't have any control over is the area because you know who you're going to be playing. But and I was talking with Coach Burkett about this, and I'm curious as how you attack it. When you set up your schedule, and one word he used, I don't mean to use because I didn't want it to come out that way, is I know you don't schedule patsies. That's not what you do. But I also feel like you schedule what there's absolutely nothing wrong with. You schedule teams you ought to beat every once in a while. And if you don't, then you know your team is really not where you want it to be. And then I'm sure you want to just schedule teams that you know it's going to be a competitive game because you're going to grow for it. And every once in a while you like those tough games where if you can sort of tell exactly where you are. And let me ask you this too, along with that aspect of it. I've been one of these people all through my career covering sports and in sports. I believe there is such thing as a good loss. That absolutely. You can grow from losing. You don't like it. That's not what we mean to say at all. But if there's somebody that's significantly better and you almost beat them but don't, well, you know, that you can build from that. Yeah. And so I just wondered, with your philosophy, how do you like to do that as a general rule?
Well, for the most part, Coach Burkett does handle our scheduling. So some of the games that we have, I don't have any control over. He schedules them, and he has contracts with people. Right. And our area games, obviously, we don't have any control over. But we try to make sure we get a lot of competition in the middle of our area games. We go out of state a lot because we know we can find good competition out of state. And that's basically how I schedule. I don't mind going and playing somebody at their place if it's a hostile environment because the girls need it. It does become a feeling like complacency when, like this year, we were beating people by a lot of points and we tried to make sure our schedule was harder so they wouldn't think that every game was going to be a blowout. Right. So, you know, we appreciate those harder games where we got pushed. And our one loss at Hazel Green was like very hostile environment. We actually lost by 18. It was the 3rd game of the season, so I think that kept us humble for the rest of the season.
Yeah, well, it's amazing, like you say, how sometimes a certain game will stick in the minds of the kids. We don't want that happening no more to us, you know. Well, let me ask you this too, and different coaches have different philosophies. What is your philosophy when it comes? You've got to have a certain type game you would like to play, but how much compromise works into your part of being a head coach when you can't play the kind of game you want to play because your talent doesn't fit it? And you have to compromise a little bit to play to the strength of your players sometimes. Has that ever occurred with you?
Yeah, obviously, like, we may play a team where we want to play fast, but they may be a team that likes to play fast as well. So we try to make sure we settle down, we play more discipline that game. But that's something I try to preach to them as a coach, is just be ready for all teams. We should be able to go fast, go slow, press, don't press, man zone, and just be able to do all aspects of the game, and that way nothing surprises us.
Have you learned to live with this premise since you've been the head basketball coach here at Hoover, that everybody is wanting to knock you off?
Absolutely, and I played here too, so that's been like that forever.
Yeah, and that's always something you can use as emotional manual to tap to,
correct,
right?
because they need to know that every night, regardless of who you're playing and how inferior they may be, everybody wants to beat Hoover. So we have to play hard every single night.
Well, looking ahead, I mean, you took care of this year, that championship. That's the best you can do, and that never gets old winning, does it?
No,
so let's look down the road a little bit. Are you losing many seniors, or are you having quite a few good younger players that you expect to really help out the team next year? What does it look like for you?
Well, we lose 4 seniors. All of them were contributors on this year's team, but we get 7 girls back, and we have a lot of young talent coming up. So we should be able to pick up where we left off next year.
Well, and how much pressure, like I said, does it bother you that much that Hoover has the reputation you're supposed to do well all the time? Well, it takes a combination. It takes the good coaching and the good players, and sometimes you may just not be quite as good as you're used to being. Does that ever bother you in any way?
It doesn't bother me. I'm used to it. Like I said, I played here from 1997 to 2001, so I was a part of the teams that kind of established that culture here. So it doesn't bother me at all. If anything, I expect us to do well just as much as people expect us to do well.
And I'm going to ask you a question that a lot of times I ask the male coaches, but I think it has to apply to you ladies as well. You have was an outstanding player, outstanding coach here in high school. Would a college job ever interest you, or do you feel like you're where you need to be?
Yeah, that's definitely my dream job. I want to coach in college one day, but until then, I'm here to stay.
Well, I tell you what, Coach, that's good news for Hoover, bad news for the opposition, and that's always good to say. But as long as y'all are winning, and I don't want to come out the wrong way, but you got to be super successful in high school for college to even consider you. And so, from that standpoint, I got to feel. Do you feel like in the back of your mind, if things continue on this road, that somebody may come knocking one day, and we're talking about college? Well, I tell you what, you keep putting these W's and championships together, it ain't no probably. It may happen, and whatever you want to do in the future, I wish you all the luck in the world.
Thank you.
Right now, just stay hot at Hoover, and I know that's what you intend to do and hope to do, okay?
Yes, sir.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, 2 ladies very instrumental in a championship season the Lady Bucks had this year. We'll be right back.
And this will be your premium right here.
Sorry to interrupt. I just want to say I combined home and auto with State Farm.
Saved $760.
Love this guy.
Okay, does it bother anybody else that the mime is talking? Freaky.
Bundle home and auto, and you could save $760.
That's 760 very good reasons to call Alan Gurdeau in Trussville today.
At Andrew Sports Medicine, we partner with our patients, trying to help them overcome the obstacles that keep them from achieving their goals.
This practice aggressively pursues victory over injury, over pain, over limitation, over anything that's going to keep you from being the best you can be.
It starts with our non-surgical physicians who are trained in sports medicine, orthopedic injuries. We have specialists in sports medicine, shoulders, elbows, and knees. We have hip specialists that do only hip surgery, including arthroscopy, minimally invasive resurfacing, and total hip replacement if needed. We have joint replacement surgeons. We have spine surgeons. We have surgeons that specialize in foot and ankle surgery and in hand surgery. So just about all the specialties of orthopedics are covered in injury sports medicine.
What makes the great surgeons great is their volume of experience at making decisions, whether that's intraoperative decisions, post-operative decisions, pre-operative decisions, the decision to operate on somebody or not operate on them. And so our volume here breeds good decision making. That gives us an edge in terms of making decisions for our patients, which ultimately is a lot of times the difference between success and failure. The teams, the players, the parents have confidence in us because they know we're going to communicate with them, we're going to create a plan unique to that athlete or that person, and we're going to get them back to their thing and as quickly and as safely as we can.
In injury sports medicine, our mission is to partner with our patients and to help them succeed and achieve victory. Whether you're a weekend warrior, a grandparent with a shoulder problem, or a professional athlete, you get the same care, the same high-level technology, the same aggressiveness that we would in a professional athlete, and we treat everyone the same way. None of us like to lose. We're all very competitive, and we're not going to lose against their illness or their injury.
Hey, and welcome back, folks. As you can tell, two outstanding, beautiful young ladies that are better athletes than they are pretty, and you're pretty girls. So, first of all, congratulations on your state championship.
Thank you, sir.
I'll treat you just like I do the guys. That's what I imagine most of you girls play for. It ain't second place, is it?
No.
So, not at Hoover anyway. Well, that's great. And to start with, Melanie Hall, senior guard, and then Maya Kimber, senior guard as well, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, now girls, both of y'all being seniors, the first thing I will ask you, are you headed off to a certain college on scholarship next year?
I'm not. I haven't decided yet what I'm doing.
You know, undecided is a very popular university for you girls, but do you have any idea of what you might like to do when you go to school, what kind of courses you may head in?
I'm going to be a criminal justice major, and I might minor in psychology.
Oh, okay. In other words, if I break the law, you better not be around, right?
Right.
Oh, okay. Well, have you never thought that maybe somewhere down the road you might like to coach a sport you love so much?
I've always, like, even as a kid, I've wanted to, like, be a lawyer, so.
Oh, really? Well, don't ever quit chasing your dreams. If that's what you have and that's what you want to be, good luck, okay?
Thank you.
And Maya?
Yes, sir.
Now, tell me, have we had a scholarship?
Yes, we do. A full
Where?
ride to West Alabama.
West Alabama?
Yes, sir.
And what do you hope to do there, other than play good basketball?
Well, I'm still trying to decide on that. But, like, my future job is to play in the WNBA.
Really? Well, you know, I have had very few ladies tell me that. And I see nothing wrong with that because that should probably be a goal of a lot of young ladies. Well, going into this season, and both of you being seniors, and so we just start with you since we're talking, what did you expect for yourself this year and for your team as a whole?
For us to play better than we played last year and to not go out how we did because we went into that game not prepared. We went into there thinking that we could just win again, but that's not how it went down.
Yeah, well, it happens sometimes, and sometimes, like you said, when you lose one like that, you're going to do everything in your power to make sure that don't happen again, right?
Yes, sir.
Boy, did y'all change that around.
Yes.
One loss all year. Now that's got to surprise you, doesn't it?
A little bit, and then not really, because we stand in our own way.
Okay.
No other team really stands in front of us.
Well, you know what? There's absolutely nothing wrong with confidence, as you always say. It goes, if you can back it up, well, then it's up to somebody else to stop you, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Well, how about you, Melanie? What were you expecting out of yourself, and did you have that personal drive too? Because y'all ended in such a lousy way last year for y'all.
This year, I just wanted to make sure that I could stay healthy and, like, play and be able to contribute all season long. Because last year, I had to have surgery because I was injured for, like, 18 games throughout the season.
Wow. Okay. Well, now, girls, of course, one thing that I'm always curious about with these young athletes, such as yourself, is your outstanding students, or you wouldn't make it, to the basketball court, and your outstanding players. Now, that takes a lot out of you. So you got to have some downtime. What I want to know, and we'll start with you, Melanie, what do you do in that downtime to relax and enjoy yourself and get away from the pressure of the classroom and the basketball court?
You already know, cell phones.
Oh, really?
Social media, phones. I be on FaceTime, either that, and I go to sleep.
Oh, my goodness, we don't have time to sleep. We're on the phone. Did you sleep much in class?
No. I eat during class.
Okay. Maya, how about you?
I leave all my things in the car, my school bag and my basketball bag, so I don't tempt to even try to go work out.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't want to tempt yourself, Tanya.
Yeah.
You know you need a little downtime, right?
Yes, I do. So
Because,
I just sleep.
all work and no play makes you girls angry. No. What do y'all do for a hobby? Do you have any hobbies that might interest me? Because I'm going to be very shocked if one of you don't mention this one. So I'm going to start with Maya, because you look like you're ready to tell me exactly what.
I cook and I work.
You cook and work?
Yes.
Now, when you say work.
I have a job.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, girl, you just surprised me everywhere I turned. That's terrific. Yeah, there's not an unbusy bone in your body, is it?
No,
Not
really.
much, except when you're sleeping. That ain't much, right? Okay, Melanie, how about you?
When I'm not playing basketball, I'm either asleep or eating somewhere.
Or doing what?
Or eating somewhere.
Eating somewhere? You're not eating that phone, are you?
No.
All right, well, girls, let me tell you what. Now, you surprised me because there's one thing that women are notorious for.
Shopping.
Bingo!
Oh, I'm a good
Oh, yeah,
shopper.
I'm a good
I
shopper.
can spend me some money,
Oh, I just bet you could.
Don't even look at the price tag.
You don't
just
have
go.
no money left after you pay that
I'll look at the
sale
price
bill,
tag.
though. You have any left after that sale bill? Does Mom and
Sometime.
Daddy have to get on to you about that?
They don't really say nothing to me.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'm not going to say nothing either. You just talk yourself away. Well, girls, I tell you what, going off to school next year and being seniors, this one question I like to ask girls every once in a while, because I ask guys a lot. You have young ladies during the season come up to you after ball games, and congratulating you and this kind of thing. Do you ever get the opportunity to tell young ladies why they ought to play basketball and why you love it so much? And we'll start with you, Melanie.
I mean, a lot of middle schoolers,
Yeah.
they'll talk to me, they know who I am, and they'll speak to me when they see me, and they'll talk to me about good game. But I've never really sit down and actually have a conversation with them for real.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Have you had that opportunity, Maya?
I've only had that once when I was with my dad training this girl, and I had told her that if you're gonna play, just give it all you got and leave everything on the court.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, girls, going into to next year, it's going to be a whole different situation. Being in school, in college, and trying to chase that dream of what we're going to do after school. But girls, till you get there, enjoy what you've done, enjoy the championship you've won. And the last question I want to ask you, and we'll start with you, Melanie, to this point in your young life, who's been the most inspirational person or persons?
Honestly, Coach Crystal's been the most inspirational person to me. She's always pushed me and been honest with me about everything.
That lady?
Yes.
Well, bless your heart. That's a compliment to not only you but to her, because I know how much she cares about you girls. And how about you, Mom?
My mom, my dad, Coach Crystal, and Coach Cowan.
Well, I tell you what, girls, you couldn't have ended your careers any better than that state championship. And that was probably then, both of you been on 2 championships, right?
Yes, sir.
And so, was the second one better than the first?
No.
No? Well, I'm not going to go into that, but I'm going to say congratulations on both of them. Girls, y'all have a wonderful career in college, okay? And good luck down the road. And folks, we've had another great show, outstanding coaching, outstanding young athletes. We'll do it again next week. Till then, you know what the snapper always says, bicycle. You can catch our show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Stitcher, and YouTube. You can also visit us on our social media outlets, Facebook and Twitter. Be sure to like and subscribe to our platforms. If you have an idea for a show topic or would like to be a sponsor, please email us at castvshow321@gmail.com.